Hey everybody, it's Robert Dunt from ArtTop10.com, and I'm very excited this afternoon to be speaking with Andrew Stahl. Andrew, hello.
Hello there, hi.
Hi. So it's an amazingly crazy, beautiful, hot day in London, which it looks like you're enjoying in your studio, I think.
Yeah, it's the hottest day of the year so far.
Exactly, yeah. Yeah, no, it's really cool. So, should we have a look around your studio to start with? It looks absolutely fascinating.
Sure.
Do you want to give us a little tour?
I'll have to carry the computer.
That's cool. That's cool.
Okay.
Let's go for it.
So a lot of the stuff I'm actually working on at the moment.
Yeah.
But it's quite difficult to work out how to do this.
You can sort of show us around a bit, and then we can chat after.
I'm working on that one.
Okay.
And I'm working on that one.
I guess you must be working on that one at the moment. What with the giveaway mask moment.
Absolutely. And this one is finished. I mean, that I've shown in various things.
Okay. That's
and
really
the next one is really old.
Okay.
I came back to repair some damage to it.
Oh, wow. That's wild.
And then there's quite a few kind of sculptures around.
Yeah. I like the crazy
sculptures. Oh, this one is also finished. That's called Fan.
Okay.
It's got a sculpture in front of it.
Oh, yeah, I like the sculpture in front of it. That's cool.
And then
this
one is finished too.
Okay. Check it out. Is that quite a recent one? Or?
Sorry?
Is it quite recent, that one?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's called Krakow.
Krakow. Oh, is it actually of Krakow?
It's of me walking there a long time ago.
Oh, right. Yeah. Oh, man. It's a sort of a picture of you from the blast from the past, sort of wandering through that.
That's right. Just remembering things.
That's really cool.
And then these are more sculptures. I think I'm getting the hang of this better. It's better when I hold it high.
Yeah,
and see around the whole.
Oh, wow, that's cool. Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's really nice, actually. Going around
I'm working on that one. And that sculpture by the door is finished as well.
Okay.
And that's the one I'm most working on at the moment.
That's the one you're most working on at the moment. Is there one of them you'd like to sort of... Is there one that makes most sense to start off talking about?
Maybe the Fan.
Yeah, let's go for the Fan.
Which is this one.
Yeah, so that is actually literally, it's meant to be like a fan you'd fan yourself with, sort of.
Like those plastic fans you get given in Japan when you walk around with an advert on it. Unfortunately, there's a sculpture in front of it.
No, that's cool. I like the sculpture. It's good.
But I suppose that one reason I suggest it is because it's full of small marks and small things.
Oh, yeah.
This is what connects the paintings and the sculpture. It's like painting thoughts.
Okay.
So, like, if you look up there,
yeah,
I think this would be better in a way if I did it on my phone. But if you look up there, you can see like a little devil figure.
Yeah. The sort of woman with the crazy tongue.
Yeah, and then a flower, and then here you can see other things.
So what's
like there?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, like sort of shapes. Is that like a bullet or something, or a rocket? Or
yes.
And they're like the little curly, twirly. Oh,
and then a fountain. I'm very obsessed with fountains because I did the Rome thing a couple of times.
Okay.
And I can show you a very early sculpture.
Yeah.
When I was a student, 1975 that was.
Oh, wow, that was 1975?
Yeah.
What's it made of?
The rubbish that everyone threw around the studio.
That's really cool.
And glued together with acrylic paint.
Oh, seriously?
Yeah.
And it stayed together?
It stayed together. I made lots of them, but it's the only one that was small enough for me to keep.
Oh, right.
Because you know what it's like.
Yeah.
Okay, and this is what I'm working on at the moment.
Okay,
it's very unresolved, but
yeah,
it's kind of, I'm allowing lots of build-up and errors and just building up the surface. I think that white thing is going to change at the back.
Yeah, what?
But again, it's quite often a head in the painting. Because that's a way of bringing my thoughts or myself into it.
Okay.
Or someone into it. Of this sculpture, you can see
Oh wow, that's cool.
lots of like my kids' toys
Yeah.
and things that they no longer use.
Yeah, I like the toys. They're really cool.
Okay, I've given you a little tour.
No,
I think I'm probably moving so quickly I'll make you sort of seasick.
Don't worry, I'm sure they're used to it. So, for instance, like the one behind you at the moment, I mean, so are you always trying to paint your thoughts, or is it sort of chaos as it goes forward? Do you know how you're going to end up, or?
I mean, this one is more, it's sort of slightly different.
Yeah.
Because I'm building the surface up. There was something underneath it.
Okay.
It was another painting underneath it. I'm working through quite a lot of unfinished work at the moment, working on top of them. I'm enjoying that.
Okay.
I think my practice changes, but all the time, but slowly. But I think the key influences probably, first of all, after I left art college, I went to Rome and I spent 2 years there on the Abbey Rome scholarship.
Okay.
And I just absolutely loved all the fountains.
Yeah.
And the playfulness of it. And I can show you some pictures of them later, actually.
Okay. Yeah.
Because I happen to have them all in a file on
nice.
my computer.
Yeah, show them whenever you fancy.
Do you want me to show you now?
Yeah, go on. Why not?
I had a show a year ago at the Sharjah Art Foundation, and this was one of the rooms. It was a survey show, and this was of the work I made in Rome.
Oh, wow. So these are the fountain paintings, as it were?
Yes, this is from 79 to 81, I was there.
Man, check it out. And so, literally, you just loved looking at fountains, and that inspired you to paint them?
Yes, and the detail, like some of them, for example, I love the fact that even the pavement sometimes had almost jewelry in it. It was so stunning. I mean, I just found Rome absolutely amazing. And I've never got, the reason I'm saying this is because I've never quite got it out of my system.
No, I can see.
Ever. And it's still there. So I'm closing these now, going back to the main thing.
Okay.
And then, so I worked in London for a long time when I came back. And then I got a chance I was in a British Council show that went to Asia. But also I got something called a Wingate Fellowship, which enabled me to travel to Cambodia, Laos, Vietnam, Thailand. I mean, you wrote a proposal. It was advertised as, are you an artist, a poet, or a writer? And there's somebody you want to visit, something you want to visit.
Okay.
So I applied for it and I got it, which was fantastic.
Really cool.
So I spent 3 months traveling around Southeast Asia, and I never quite got over that.
No, I don't
because again, I remember walking into Wat Po in Bangkok, the massive golden Buddha, and just could not believe it. Have you seen it?
Yeah, I've seen that. It's weird, isn't it? It's kind of crazy.
It's astonishing. And then they get even more astonishing in Cambodia and other places.
I've never been to Cambodia.
Angkor Wat in Cambodia is absolutely amazing. But also Burma is extraordinary. I went to Burma as well. But Thailand has become a very important part of my, place I love. Yeah.
Okay. Do you go back there quite a lot? Or?
Well, I just seem to have had one thing after the other. I did a British Council residency in Chiang Mai.
Okay.
And then I was offered a show in Bangkok at Tonsongari. Then I was offered another one. And then I organised some group shows through the British Council called Monologue Dialogue Series.
Okay.
I was one of the organisers, and there was one in Bangkok and one in London. Okay. And then another one in Bangkok, another one in London. And now there's going to be another one in Bangkok, hopefully. But there are about 14 artists from all over the world in it.
Oh, wow.
And then I was in the Bangkok Art Biennale quite recently.
Okay, nice.
A year ago. So I've got lots of friends there. So I've sort of got quite a lot of art world connection there. But it's, I just love the liveliness of the city and the beautiful sea and the rocks and I love Italy. So those are two places. Besides London, I love London. Yeah. The three places that really, are important.
Yeah. So do you think like the big faces in the paintings, like the one behind you, are they a bit like those giant Buddhas? Are they a bit like?
Some of mine have been. Like this one is more kind of. I mean, the one that I showed you over there is called Miyu Contemplating the Night Sky. Miyu is my 18-year-old daughter, and the idea is she's kind of thinking about her future, being 18, and which uni is she going to go to, what's going to happen, you know. So some of them, but you're right. I mean, the lips one, for example.
Yeah, exactly. The lips feels
is
very
a direct response, you know, to the Buddhas. And they all, yes, I think they've been a huge influence on my paintings. So I did a whole series, which I could share with you again, of like a leg, a finger, because you know how much bigger they are than we are. So you become like a mite or an ant, you know.
It's quite weird, actually. I mean, did these sort of inspire a religious sort of experience in you, or was it more of a visual painting experience in you?
More painting experience. Just yes, very much so. Yeah.
It's quite weird. So it's like a visual response to all those gigantic Buddhas and all those things you'd see in those countries that change you.
Yes.
So because some of your painting seems to have like you've got the fountain or you've got the head. It seems to have quite large different sections to it. Would you say it's like that, or? I think they integrate, but they do.
I like the idea that you can name things quite often.
Okay.
Plane, tree, fountain, head, nose, whatever. Yeah.
So what do you when you're painting? Are you thinking of it in a sort of formal sort of relationship of the things to each other, or are you thinking of it as like prettiness, or is it much more of a psychological drama kind of thing?
Okay, well, I'm thinking of it as a mixture of, I mean, certainly trying to make something beautiful is important for me, but I think primarily I have an idea before I start a painting, what I want to do.
Okay.
I work towards that, and then things happen on the way. You know, it's quite intuitive. So suddenly I'll add something, or you know, like I went to Picasso exhibition last Sunday, and you know, I immediately, you know, having not seen a few shows because of COVID for a while, and immediately I thought, my God, it's so great to see a show that makes me want to, you know, stimulates me to add something or take something away. Absolutely. I feel it's a discussion between me and the painting.
Well, that's quite interesting. So that actually doing the painting is a discussion between you and the painting.
Yes.
And you're. It's quite interesting. So you
add something, remove it, put it on, take it away. Yeah. But I think they're driven by a particular sense of what I wanted to do. Maybe I should show you another one.
Yeah, definitely. So like, for instance, in the painting behind you, the sort of what could be a tunnel or a thing. What inspired that white shape?
Well, that used to. I mean, that's not one to talk about much because it's completely in a process of changing from being a fountain to a landscape.
Oh, right. That's so cool.
So the white has become more like a moon or a sun. You know? But it was part of a sort of fountain, you know.
I can see.
I just had a show in Rome, so I was there, but it's not what I decided it was wrong. Okay. So let me try and share my screen with you.
Yeah, go for it.
I might as well just show you some work that I made.
Yeah, do it. Go
for after going to see these, after coming across these enormous Buddhas.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, I'd love to see that.
For example.
Oh man, that's quite freaky.
They're very big. They're like 2.5 meters or something. Yeah, 244 centimeters.
Man.
So, I love the way on the foot of the Buddha, the story of Buddha was inscribed. I don't know if you noticed that. There was a tiny mother of pearl at the bottom.
Really? What, the whole story? suppose.
Yes, it's
'Cause I suppose you could.
whoop. So let me just go now. Sorry, I'm going to put this up.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, other ones there. So
Yeah.
this is like
Oh man.
a head. You can see the influence of, again, lots of little things around it.
So why the little things? Are they part of the discussion you're having with the painting? Are they like your
There are contexts. There are also thoughts. There are also, like the strangeness. For example, you get these, like these incredibly tall buildings, and then you get the beautiful old traditional buildings. They're flying everywhere.
Yeah,
and it's stuff like that. So
they're like little stories in a way.
Yes, and they're symbols, I would say.
Symbols, yeah.
Symbols,
so
yeah.
Do the symbols
and then
repeat from painting to painting?
I mean, I could show you. Let me just think of. Okay, I'll go to more recent work. For example, this one.
Yeah. That's a cool one, isn't it?
That one is called The Death of Trotsky.
And
I had been to Beijing, and I'd seen the amazing scrolls, and then I came back, and there was that scroll exhibition at the V&A, which was quite extraordinary. And I love the way you wandered along the scroll and you found things. And I think that's very much so. You'd find the emperor would get off at a village, and then he would go inside the village, and then you'd walk along the scroll. Say it's 30 meters long. You'd walk along the scroll, and he'd be getting off at another village, or later on he'd be sailing. So there's almost a time element. The symbolism here is that I seem to have spent much too much time on my computer. That's my laptop. I don't know if you can see with my thing.
Yeah, I can see.
Laptop.
Yeah.
And then, I was thinking of how Trotsky was murdered by Stalin in Mexico. I'm sure you knew that. He escaped there, and Stalin, he was hit behind with a pickaxe.
I didn't actually know.
While he was on the computer. Yeah.
Really?
So I was just thinking, the fragility of life and how we can be. And so this is a gigantic death snake coming up behind.
There's nothing like a gigantic death snake in a painting, is there?
So in a way, I'm thinking of Chinese scrolls and stuff like that.
It's really cool. But you've still got your fountain in there. You've still got your sort of classic motif.
The fountains, yes. Things, a fish down there, a plane.
The plane.
I mean, for example, those trees there, I took off a Japanese packet. My wife's Japanese, so it's I just love some of the logos and things they have.
Yeah, man, they're cool, aren't they?
And they're leaves and.
What's the strange thing on the? I just wondered what the strange thing was on the far left-hand side of that last painting, the snake. There's like a sort of in the very
that.
Right over. Yeah, that exactly. Yeah, that sort of could be like a ghost head thing or something.
Let me see if I can get there.
Yeah, that bit there.
Yeah. Well, what happens? I think there was a series of kind of spirals, but what I enjoy doing sometimes is when the painting's being troublesome, I like getting a bucket of paint and throwing it at it.
Oh, really?
It does the trick, yeah.
Check it out.
So I think I threw some blue on that black and it trickled down, just like
the the body of the snake.
Black under the red too.
Intriguing. These are oil paintings, are they? I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is a very big one. It's about
must be huge.
About 20 foot wide.
Right. Were you always painting in this style with the little thoughts coming into the picture, or did it evolve over time?
It's evolved.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because those.
Let me just see if I can show you something else.
Yeah, go for it. So what was the very? Okay,
sorry, I've just been doing a residency in Hong Kong.
Oh, nice.
But before then, this is that painting I showed in the Bangkok Art and Cultural Centre in the monologue dialogue thing I mentioned.
Yeah.
But while I was there, I was the curator of the show.
Oh, wow.
Again, I was thinking of Chinese scrolls, and it's the most amazing building.
Huh.
And I made this. I got this big scroll of paper, and
That's really cool.
I just drew on it because while I was curating, what was interesting, well, when I say curating, not really, but I was the organizer.
Yeah.
And there were like all these artists there making work in situ, Thai artists, British artists, Japanese artists, whatever. And I brought that big painting with me, but then I thought I wanted to make something there and then. So I just made it on this. And the BACC is sort of built a bit like, it's a kind of spiral. It's got lovely rooms and it's kind of spiral. It's an extraordinary building, 9 floors, huge degree shows they have there.
Quite intriguing.
But what I was going to show you was something else.
Yeah.
If I'm showing you too much.
No, go for it. Because even in that one, I could see the little planes and everything. You had your same things are coming in.
So, for example, this one, I've just come back from Hong Kong.
Oh, that's cool.
And I was doing a residency at the Academy of Visual Arts, the AVA.
Yeah.
And it got stopped short because of the protests. The residency, they closed the university. So unfortunately, hopefully I'm going to go back. But again, I was thinking about the strangeness of travel and how you sort of bring your body with you, but that's just about it. You know, how odd the body is. You look at your fingers and you think, they're really odd. You know, my fingers are odd and so...
That's probably quite a sort of Buddhist-y thing, isn't it? To actually realise what you look like instead of just accepting it the whole time.
Sure. And these, again, references, thoughts, the plane. And then I saw a very interesting Chinese artist that had a sort of strange bird in it, and I just stole it.
Steal that bird.
And I'm showing that at the moment at Hanart TZ. A really interesting. It's he's one of the guys that organised the Saatchi show, West East Pop. Anyway, he's a fantastic gallerist, and I'm really thrilled. And I also made sculpture there as well. Again, AVA is in a wonderful area, very near the tube.
Okay.
And there's a whole community centre there, and there's lots of boxes abandoned and things, and stuff found, and so it's all basically stuff I found. And there were a few shops which had selling second-hand dolls. I don't know if you can see that.
Yeah, I can see the doll. Yeah.
So
it's quite frightening, that doll. But
yes. Anyway, this is very spooky at night.
Yeah, I bet.
Piece. Yeah. So, and anyway, so I made that. I made 3 or 4 paintings there.
Okay. So it seems.
And this is one I made in Sharjah, sculpture.
Oh wow, that's cool. Check it out. And that got a doll and a rubbish bin in it on the top. Oh, it's got. I love the camel. That's cool.
Yeah, I mean, because it's right in the desert, you know, and it's extraordinary. And behind you can see the scroll I showed you earlier.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool. That looks really cool.
It was a really massive exhibition. It was my best exhibition ever. I mean, it was so exciting to see all my old work.
Yeah.
You know, the ones I got left, to see them out of storage. You know.
Could you show us? I'd be fascinated to see a bit of the old work, just in contrast to the.
Sure.
Okay. Newer stuff.
Do you want to go back to the Rome work?
Yeah, or as far back as you.
Oh, the really old work.
Yeah, go on. Let's see one of these.
Okay, this is my degree show at the Slade in 1977.
Oh man! So it's the paintings as well as the sculptures.
Yeah.
Interesting. So you haven't got quite into your vibe of the fountains or the people or the little motif things yet, have you? You're still.
This was pre-Rome.
Yes. So Rome pretty much changed it all.
Yes. This is my undergraduate. I then did graduate after this.
Okay.
And my graduate work, slightly more cubist, actually.
Okay. Yeah.
I can show you that.
Yeah.
It's quite lucky I've got all this stuff here. So my graduate work was more like this.
Okay.
What happened was, actually, I mean, I think the best one actually to show you is this one.
Yeah.
I went to Italy, sort of I went to Siena and I went to God, my brain's not working. Where the Giottos are, Assisi. Well, they're in two places, but the one's in Assisi, and I thought they were absolutely amazing.
Yeah, yeah.
And they kind of, and then I sort of always interested in cubism and stuff, but I wanted to use that kind of geometry.
Yeah.
So another one, for example, would be I made all these ones like this.
Oh, it's interesting. But the space in the paintings is changing, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, because they were quite flat, and now they're becoming more 3D. Oh, that's quite a cool cubisty thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Intriguing.
It's quite interesting. I sold quite a lot of this lot to the Sharjah Art Foundation.
Oh,
they
really?
decided they like those ones particularly. And this sculpture, again, made from found material around the studios.
Okay.
At Slade, and but it doesn't exist anymore.
No.
Couldn't keep it. It's huge. So that's that, and then the next lot of work was the Rome work, which I showed you.
Yeah, let's see one of them. Yeah, so you've still got elements of that 3D cubisty vibe, but you're getting more and more recognizable things in them at this point, aren't you?
That's right. I mean, the whole thing is very much about a progression to figuration, actually.
Yeah, it is. It's quite intriguing.
And then, so I even started to have sort of creatures and.
Oh yeah, man, it's weird. So when you look back at those, do you still feel friendly to them, or do you feel they're sort of?
Very.
You do?
Yeah, I really like these particularly. That's why I'm sorting them for my website.
Yeah.
And then after that, I became more obviously figurative.
Yeah.
I had a show at the Art Gallery of those, which then was I'm just moving the table back because the sun is going in my eyes.
Yeah, sure.
The Art Gallery was an Arts Council funded space in Clerkenwell.
Okay.
And the one condition was you hadn't had a show, or you weren't belonging to a commercial gallery. You had never had a solo show.
Yeah.
And they show a lot of young artists. I remember the show after me, I think. The show before me was Paula Rego, and the show after me, Vanessa Jackson.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so it was quite a great place to be.
Yeah.
And we, maybe the other way around, I'm not sure. Anyway, so when I came back from Rome, they're almost more Roman.
Yeah.
By the way, the reason they're not such good condition is because they're made from slides.
Oh, blimey, yeah, no, I know. Slides. You can't even believe they exist anymore, can you?
And then this one.
Let's see. Oh man, that's a cool fish.
Yeah, that's. I think that belongs to the Arts Council. Actually.
Very nice.
They brought that at the time. I showed all these at the Art Gallery, and then this one. Which is, there was a show at the Hayward of Indian stone carving.
Oh, right.
And wood carving. And there was a postcard I bought of it, and I took it straight, and I decided, that's my first figurative thing. And I hadn't kind of figured how I do it, but I thought if I use an image that's already existing, it's got a distance to it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, because my fountains were not really that figurative, but this was, and the fish beforehand was huge and not really that realistic. But this, I actually tried to make it. And then this one.
Oh wow, that's weird.
That's very big. That's in my hallway.
Oh really?
Yeah.
That's quite cool because
it's based on a fountain in Tivoli.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, the Tivoli fountain thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
But that is really cool.
It's very big. It's like, I think 8 foot wide or something. Sorry, 4'3". Yeah, it's the size up there, 2.5 meters wide.
Wow, that is big. It's. I mean, I'm absolutely fascinated how you moved quite. It seemed to. Oh, that's quite.
That's the next figure painting.
Yeah.
That one won a prize in the John Moores, actually.
Oh, really?
In 1985. Yeah, not the main one, but one of
the things. I'm fascinated how you've moved to. Oh look, and you've almost got the same in the back of this picture, the same as the thing you've got behind you at the moment. You've got a
wow, I never thought of that.
little...
Yeah, it's similar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
So there's the slow move to figuration, as you can
Yeah.
see. And then, okay, and then this one, I painted a friend of mine.
Okay. So it's like a
Again,
portrait.
this
Again,
one's really big. It's 3 meters wide, but with things,
with things in it.
sort of thoughts. Yeah.
So you've never been tempted to go back to more abstract stuff then?
Yes, all the time, actually.
Oh really?
But however hard I try, something emerges, as they say.
Yeah.
But then I thought, well, I've been doing. This is quite ironic because I've been doing kind of old stuff, like old Roman stuff,
Yeah.
etc. And I thought, well, I've got to have something modern.
Yeah.
So then I thought, what was a modern television? But now, of course, it looks antiquated. So it was a TV fountain. No one has TVs like that anymore.
No, exactly. But and it's got a fountain coming out of it. It's really cool.
Yeah.
I love the way you take everything you see and put it in. So, like, if you go to Picasso, you'll put the Picasso thing in. If you go to the get the postcard of the Indian thing, you'll put that in. It's nice that way because it means everything you do continually is involved in what happens, isn't it?
Sure. Yeah, it's kind of autobiographical in that sense.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
they are in that sense.
And this is a bull.
Oh wow, he's cool.
That's again a big one. 3, 2.5.
I mean, on one like that, I mean, there's sort of, you could look at psychological things of the masks and that they're either being sick or the water's coming out. Do you plan those psychological sort of dramas, or is it more accident as it takes place?
I think it's a mixture of looking at a lot.
Yeah.
Again, still influenced by Rome. You'll walk along, you'll go into a church and you'll see a strange stone carving on the wall with a shape like that.
Yeah.
Or, in Thailand, you'll come across a vicious looking face, which is to keep the devil away.
Yeah, yeah.
And then the tree is the sort of fountain. And then yeah, so I'm not really answering that question, am I? I
Not
think
really.
it's a mixture of fragments I remember of quite formal considerations because I think I am quite abstract in a way.
Yeah.
So they're quite formal considerations, and then it's like I had to put the bull in. I want every painting to have a kind of leader.
I can see you've got a focus. Creature or head or thing, and then around that there's
something
the
in
thoughts
the middle, and then everything around it. So that goes on always.
Before you take this one away, because I would say that one's quite a dark one, the one with the bull. If you were going to give them more emotional sort of structure, it's quite sort of ominous, the bull, but in a weirdly friendly way as well.
It was more about some real feeling in there. You see, I think to put it in context.
Yeah.
What happened to me is when I was a student, there were 2 kinds of work going on. There was kind of minimalism and conceptual art. And then there was painting from the model.
Oh, yeah.
And there was very little in between. And then I remember I went to Venice, to the Venice Biennale when I was in Rome in 1980. Yeah. And we were very kindly shown a secret hole in the fence to get in there by the British Council person who showed. And so we could get in. And I went round the Arsenale, and it was full of like work that I'd never seen so expressionist work. I was always an expressionist at heart. I mean, one reason I became an artist was. When I saw Munch, I thought, wow, paintings can have feelings,
Oh, I see.
To me, that's the heart of it. Wow, paintings can have but then I went, even my abstract ones are meant to be like that. So I went to Venice and I saw Kiefer, Clemente, Kia, Schnabel, Basilitz. They were all there. Okay. And they'd never been, they were not well known then. It was 1980. They had no, but they were all together. And there were others that have disappeared since. And there was Clemente there, all sorts of people. But there are others that have that we don't really talk about anymore. I can't remember them. But it was a very, very exciting, discovery.
Yeah, it would be.
That's going on. And then there was Zeitgeist in Berlin. And then there was, the new spirit of painting. And they were all, suddenly sort of to make emotional painting suddenly was like important. And so I suppose most of my, a lot of my work, when I was very young, I used to paint Munch. I used to make the screen. Things like that. So it's suddenly I felt at home. I felt
It's really so. The paintings are at the end of the day they are meant to be an emotional punch, as it were.
Yes, definitely. I mean,
Yeah.
Then there was this huge one.
Why so big?
Because I think it's more intimate when they're big. Okay. It's like being, consumed by them. You're close with them. Something like that. And also, I enjoy the combination of the physical. Yeah. And this was sort of referring to Cambodia, actually, because there were like cars abandoned in the jungle. Yeah. When I went there in 1990, you had to have an armed guard because Pol Pot was still alive in the jungle. Man. And you had to have an armed guard to take you around. There were 6 of us that went together. Yeah. And we're still friends, some of us, actually. Yeah. It's quite from different countries, from Germany, France, Italy. Okay. It's amazing. We had the whole of the EU, just one from each.
In one guarded armed car.
Yeah. And, so we travelled round, But I was just going to now see what else I could show you.
Yeah.
A bit later. I think I briefly showed you this already. Yeah. Again, this one is about this tongue, the strangeness
That's really
of the body.
Weird, that tongue. But,
I mean, actually, there was a wonderful article. Yeah. Stuart Morgan. Have you heard of Stuart Morgan?
No.
So what he wrote for Frieze, and he was editor of Art Scribe before that.
Oh, okay.
And he wrote a great article. Catalogue introduction. Yeah. And okay, shall I just read you that paragraph?
Yeah, do it.
A feeling of alienation informs Andrew Stahl's new paintings, and also a sense of distortion. This may be the result of distance, real or metaphorical, either that foreignness experienced in places where language, religion, and customs are unfamiliar, or a private perception of the strangeness of a body and what it means to inhabit it. Stahl hints the two can be equated. The pretext for these work is travel, the feeling of being lifted like a child and transported effortlessly with all the resulting distortions. For as space and time conflate, scale becomes meaningless, perception can no longer be trusted, and understanding of others diminishes to the point of near incomprehension. Huh. Yeah, anyway.
No, it's quite really cool. It brings up that bit about, as you said before, like how strange your finger can look and how those giant Buddhas disembodied, well, the giant toes and everything are quite freaky to look at.
So that was one in that group. I'll just close these. Yeah. You've seen that one.
So they haven't quite, so the little bits of thoughts haven't quite evolved into those ones yet, have they?
No.
So that comes later.
So, okay. Well, they're beginning to, you know. And then, okay. So when I was traveling on this Wingate, I did lots of drawing.
Oh, yeah. Oh, wow. Oh, man. So they're beginning to appear in these, aren't they?
Yeah. And then the kind of painting I made a painting of that when I got back to London.
Okay. Oh, cool.
I showed that at Flowers East, Angela Flowers Gallery.
Yeah.
And, strange mixture of helicopters. There were bands and helicopters everywhere in Vietnam. Very interesting.
See that.
And then, sitting on a beach.
That's really cool.
And This one's called Origin of the Milky Way. This is a mixture of the two, of the idea of the giant Buddhas, and then this is a very big painting. And then you can see it's got all sorts of little things going on around. Yeah. And then the fountains. And one thing that I thought was quite extraordinary, I remember in Rome, like coming across this lying figure, and out of the breast came water sprouting. And if you blocked one, it went twice as high out of the other. And it's just like the whole of Tivoli is like that. I mean, it's just extraordinarily playful. And I think, but I was also thinking of the Origin of the Milky Way, the painting by, sorry, my brain's not working. In Venice. You know the one I mean?
I can't think of it either, actually.
Tintoretto.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, where the angel is leaning forward and squeezing her breast, and all the stars and moons and galaxies are coming out.
Yeah, so you've definitely got
it. So that's why it's called Origin of the Milky Way.
That's really cool.
It's sort of thinking about that Italian painting and also the Buddhas. So
yeah.
Okay, so the next group I could show you.
Yeah, go on.
Oh, and this one, I quite like this. Again, that was the beginning of like head containing thoughts.
Yeah. Yeah, and then you.
I think that was very important to me.
I'm not surprised because, oh man, this sort of spaceship is going down, but then you got the fountain coming out of the top of it.
Yes. Spaceships, fountains, rockets, you know, jewelry, beautiful jewelry things, scale change, you know, someone standing.
Oh, and the scale change.
Skyscrapers.
Because you've almost got a thing where the most important, well, you do have it, don't you, where the most important thing is bigger, and then the bigger or the more important ideas become more prominent, and the less important seem to minimize or become more the same as the background color, as it were.
And they're all inside the head, basically. Oh, so the head is sort of, you know, they're all thought to be, you know,
they're all thoughts, but yeah, they appear outside. It's really cool.
And
because in
the one in my studio at the moment.
Oh yeah, that's the one.
1990. And this I can say something about this. This is called the kiss, and if you see there's figures kissing in this pot. Because in Rome, when I was there, I went back in 1990 to do a shorter fellowship at the British School at Rome.
Yeah.
And one of the things, you know, everywhere you walked in the Borghese Gardens, very near the British School at Rome, there were couples kissing under trees, young couples, teenagers, every monument everywhere. And I remember asking Italian friends of mine, why is that? He said, you know, no one can afford, young people can't afford property in Rome. So when they want them allowed to show affection at home. So when they all come to, it may not be true anymore, but they all come to the gardens. So that's why it's called the kiss. And then I was thinking of the Buddha as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's, I mean, you can almost say it's still a bit cubisty in a way, that it is still just sort of,
yes,
you know, like the cubists are trying to look at things from different angles. You've taken it a step further, and it's looking at what goes in your mind and your memories and your thoughts and your anything that interests you in a way.
I think in a way, you know, that's again, it's like it's a mixture of cubism and the idea, and like Chinese scrolls where you paint things and they don't have to all make sense.
Yeah,
and they're placed on the thing. You know, so they're not all that logical. I'll show you the next group, shall I? Let's see. So 90, this is slightly... Okay, and then I went to... oh, look, there's a big rocket.
Yeah, cool rocket. I like it.
It's a plane, really.
Yeah.
Anyway, I went to Spain.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and I saw the Goyas.
Oh, yeah,
there. And I just, you know, though I'd seen them in reproduction and seen one or two in London, I'd never seen the dark Goyas, the black Goyas in the, you know, and I just thought they were absolutely amazing. I made a whole series of paintings. Sort of, so this was a bit later, this is 98.
Yeah.
And
then you, no, that's a good one.
Night and Day.
It's intriguing because you've got the same thing. It's slightly more it's weird. It's becoming, yeah. As it goes on, they become more and more naturally joined. The heads and the images. Do you think?
Yes.
They become more and more of one relaxed, integrated experience.
Yes. That's right. And then, okay, a whole series of drawings.
Oh wow! Oh, so the drawing. So in the
That's
drawings,
twins.
yeah, that's cool. So in the drawings, do you go a bit more wild, or would you say? Oh, that's
I
cool.
like to think they're all wild, but but no, the drawing. I mean, I enjoy doing the drawings very much.
Yeah.
This is a Japanese house.
That's cool.
Come a fountain.
Huh.
At that point, I was divorced, and I met my wife now,
Okay.
and I made a whole series of work very influenced by Japan.
Yeah, no,
Not this one. Wrong one.
Because Japan's very Japan, isn't it? Oh, these are
So,
cool. Oh, nice. That's more normal in a way. There's less things flying around, less rockets, less
that's
planes.
right. Yeah. When I look back, I'm not so sure about all of them, but you know,
Yeah.
I'm anyway. I mean, I was thinking you could dress up as a Maiko for the day, and I persuaded my wife because I loved the clothes and stuff, and then I made this is a very big one, which I showed at a Matthew Flowers gallery. Not Matthew Flowers, Matthew Bound. Sorry, another gallerist in London, off the road parallel to Court Street.
I really like that. The colours in this are really cool. I love all the greeny bits on the left-hand side. They're
yes, I was pouring the paint. It was just opening up, and then actually there's quite a lot of detail. If you go in to the.
But it's really neat because you've got that real crisp clarity on the pink outfit, and then that loose dripping sort of trees on the left.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and there's more detail in the face when you get closer. I mean, these are quite different though. These are like they're not quite as psychological. Oh, but they're coming back again with the rockets or the plane.
Yeah, coming back.
And the flower.
Yeah. I've got it in situ, so you get a better sense of the scale.
Oh man, that's cool.
This is the opening in Rome. Not Rome, sorry, in New York. I had that gallery.
That's really interesting, actually. You don't, it'd be interesting to see them in real life because I can see those massive heads are quite different in real life, aren't they? Because then all the little things that are the thoughts, they make even more sense in the scale, don't they? I guess.
That's right. Yeah. I mean, I think, and also it's more intimate. Again, you know, I like. For me, that's important.
Yeah. Weirdly enough, it is. It is.
And it's another one I made. Again, pouring paint.
Yeah.
And then the detail. But this is quite a short bit that I made this kind. And then this one's called Bleeding Cherry Blossoms.
Oh, wow.
This is a very big painting. Maybe. How does it say how big it is? This one, nearly 3.65 meters, so about 14 foot wide. I think.
Where do you store that when you've done it?
Well, the previous one was similar size.
Yeah.
The previous one I sold in New York, which was great.
Okay. That's good.
This one, unfortunately, is rolled up.
That's the thing, isn't it?
In my storage area. It's fine. I mean, I've got the stretcher, I've got it, but it's in good condition.
Yeah, you can take it out. Yeah.
You're right. I mean, you know.
No, I mean, no, because I make
I haven't shown this one properly.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, because I make large paintings, and, you know, the house is just full of these damn large paintings tripping over.
I know what you mean. And then the more recent selection Yeah, well, okay. I like this one a lot.
Oh wow, that's cool. Wait, that's quite different. That's a bit lighter and looser, and you've left the white of the canvas on there. It's getting more
I made
wild.
this. I did a residency in Thailand.
Okay.
Well, it was a sort of residency. It was a house in Chinatown in Bangkok.
Oh man, that sounds cool.
But then I went with my wife we went to Koh Samui. That's why it's called Samui Thoughts.
Nice. Yeah,
I remember seeing, oddly enough, these military planes flying over.
Yeah, you would.
It's actually not a great image, not great thing. So there's more stuff here, and then this one, I had a show afterwards. It was all for a show. I like this one actually. It's called Flow.
It's interesting because they're changing again. Because these ones have got a lot. Well, there's a lot of left canvas into it, isn't there? And they're a bit more looser, I suppose you could say.
Yeah. Again, it's very big. It's 3 meters, but they all made in Chinatown. And then a small one, Tales of the Forgotten.
And how big is that one?
35 centimeters by 46.
So it really is teeny in comparison to the rest of them.
Exactly.
Check it out.
And then this one I made in the gallery grounds in Bangkok.
I love the horse.
All the rubbish. The little horse and things,
Because in a way, the sculptures are quite related to the paintings, aren't they? You pick up anything you're interested in, and it becomes this thing.
Exactly, but you just reminded me what I was going to explain the connection. Because in paintings, say, I'm interested that you go in and find things. Yeah. You know, like in this one. You go in and you find things.
Yeah.
And I'm interested in sculpture that... this is one I made a few months ago in Rome.
Cool.
I'm interested. You go in and you find bits, but there's a shoe there.
Yeah, and the other one. Yeah.
So I'm interested. You unpick things. A little plastic house on top there.
Oh, that's cool.
You know. So again, that's a connection. You can see the painting I showed you at the back.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's nice. So what is there a particular sort of emotional reaction you're hoping to get out of people from the sculpture?
I try to get it out of myself.
Okay.
And then if I get it, I'm hoping other people will. To me, it's incredibly exciting, being given a space. Yeah. And I like the ecological idea of finding everyone's discarded material.
Okay.
You know.
Yeah.
And building something with it. And also, I love the physical way, like a pouring paint of the abstract quality of them is very important to me. And I like that, the sense of building, you know, and also making something a bit awkward.
Yeah.
They're
like 3D abstract paintings in a way, aren't they?
They are, they're very close to.
Yeah. So I mean, they also remind me a lot of ships or submarines or sort of things.
Oh yeah, it's funny you should say that. There's one even more like a ship than I have, but it's not here. I made it in Japan.
Okay.
Someone said it looked like a U-boat. But
that's really
it's not in this bit. But no, they're all. And this, you see, I also.
Yeah, that one also reminds me of a ship.
Yeah.
It's quite intriguing.
So again, you know, to me, I suppose I don't plan what other people. I try and get something out of it myself. So this is the one, me you contemplating the night. I mean, it's whoops, wrong one. Yeah. Sorry, I'll close this.
That's good. Yeah.
This is the one I've just basically finished it a year ago or so.
That's really cool. You've got a lot of the little dotty drips of the paint coming down on top of it, and then little decorative bits, and then you've still got the mind stuff. You've got the fish and everything going on in there as well. I like the little boat.
And I think the ones I'm working on over my shoulder.
Yeah.
Maybe I've done enough screen sharing. I don't know.
Yeah, no. Go on. Why not go back to the giant man with the mask or woman?
The one with the mask.
Oh, in the studio with the.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. You take us.
Okay, I stop share.
Yeah, stop. Yeah, that's it. Cool.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, do you mean that one?
Oh,
No.
the one, whichever way it is. Who's got the sort of COVID mask on?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I'll take you there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that. Yeah. I mean, do you think that one will remain with its COVID mask on, or do you think it'll change over time?
I think I will leave it.
Yeah.
With the COVID mask, but it did just have green. But I got a bit impatient, so I decided to put this lovely brown on.
Yeah, the brown's nice.
And it was all green, but I can see this is going to build up.
Yeah. It looks like it's building.
And this one too, which kind of I'm sort of building up over the sea.
Oh yeah.
It's the idea of building up, and I think it comes from the one that I just showed you now online. It comes from this one.
Comes from that. Yeah, exactly.
In a way, the idea of building up, and even if it goes wrong, I'd rather even build it up and it's a disaster. It's not. It's sort of meant to be me, but I think I look a lot younger there than I do in real life.
No. I can tell. It's the mask is a weird thing. So how long? This is a weird, slightly boring. How long do you spend painting each week, as it were? Because there's a lot of stuff you've done.
Well, I teach. I run the undergrad painting at the Slade.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. So that is quite time-consuming.
I do. There's a lot of work there.
Yeah.
So it does mean I'm very, very. I'm working a lot, to be honest.
Yeah.
Both there and here.
Yeah.
So it's a very full-on life. But I enjoy every moment. I enjoy being there, and I enjoy here. Most of the time. I mean, there are times that I don't enjoy both.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's an amazing institution, the Slade. Because it's just a gigantic argument about what contemporary art should be. So it's not where you tell people what to do. Yeah. But I do about 3 days. I mean, it's quite good because I do 3 days a week in the building. I probably do at least 3/4 of a day online. Okay. At the moment, I'm not in the building at all. I'm just doing endless online stuff.
Online stuff,
Yeah. And the rest of the time, and then the holidays, I have to do my own.
Yeah, I was thinking you must have to work on it pretty hardcore.
Are you teaching anywhere?
No. Oh, well, actually, I do a tiny little teaching with a friend of mine who's running. He wants to set up a big art school, but it's like a mini little thing at the moment, which I absolutely love doing. Obviously, it's fascinating, chatting to the people and seeing what they're up to. And it's nice. I mean, because as an artist, you can just get terribly isolated otherwise.
Absolutely.
Yeah, just stuck on your own in there, thinking this is awful.
That's what I used to like being in Acme. I used to be in an Acme studio under the Olympic Stadium, Well, our Olympic swimming pool in Stratford.
Very cool.
And it was an Acme studio, and I had a great space. And, it's so nice because someone would knock on your door and say, you want a coffee? It's a sort of community thing. And so that's a good thing. But it's a good thing about working in those those groups of studios, but the same with teaching. You've got that community atmosphere.
No, I think the community would be really interesting. Anyway, we better sort of round it up. I'm absolutely fascinated by it. I find I can't believe your students aren't very influenced, because even I can think all these things. I'm often taking photos of stuff, and I always love looking at like these Madonnas in not necessarily Rome, but wherever you see them. And I'm always taking photos of them and trying to make them into weird films or stuff. But now I think, maybe I should just stick them in the edge of this picture. But and see what happens. And I think it's a disaster. but no, it's really inspiring, actually.
Thank you.
It's inspiring because you seem really inspired yourself by absolutely everything you see. which is nice, and that comes through in the pictures. But is there any other picture you'd like to show us before we sort of round it up, or?
Well, I just started. Actually, it's funny because a student came over to interview me the other day, and then I thought I'd better start one. But,
so I've got something to talk about. Yeah.
So I'm just starting one here. It's going to be a picture of one of my daughters, actually.
Okay.
Another one, because she complained that there were no pictures of her, which wasn't true, but she just doesn't know. But
that's really cool. Yeah. So.
No, I just don't think. No, I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
But no, it's. You're right. I think also there's a thing about the Chinese thing about how things don't have to all sort of fit into some idea of perspective, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
One of the reasons I love Sienese painting, for example.
Yeah.
I mean, it's unbelievable, you know, like Duccio Maestro, you have the heads in a row and then you have little things around them.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, it's
only post perspective that everything has to fit into this sort of photographic world.
It is, isn't it? Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, there's no need to have that because they never used to worry about that, did they? It's just suddenly us who became worried about fitting things into those views. But that's the weird thing, isn't it, about cubism and all those sort of things? I mean, how heavily does those perspectives and stuff actually change the way we look at stuff the whole time? Which is completely mad. Because I'm looking out the window now and I see a teeny tiny little plane go by, just like in one of your pictures, but it could mean something completely different to just being a teeny tiny plane. It's like a thought.
It's interesting you mentioned cubism because to me that was a major part of this. The idea, you know, that you look that say a Braque or Picasso painting or Leger. I love Leger, for example, because he makes these chunky things.
They've got a real U vibe in some of those things.
The fact that they don't add up to one view, you know, the multiple viewpoint. You know, Picasso still lies. There's a coffee, there's there's you know.
Yeah.
That to me is a great always was an inspiration from the age of like 16 or something.
Oh, totally. I mean, I'm totally inspired by that. I just don't know quite how to fit it into what I do. But it's because it changes the way you look at everything, doesn't it?
Is that one of your paintings behind?
Yeah, that's one of them behind.
Okay.
So the idea always was, I don't know if you know this band, the Jesus and Mary Chain. He made these very pretty songs and covered them with noise and distortion. So the idea is that I'm making something that's quite pretty, and then I'm covering it with these black and white shapes that are meant to be noise, distortion, and feedback. So you're sort of interfering with something pretty. But and at the end of the day, you could, in a way, be painting music or sound as opposed to painting a tree.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, interesting you mention that because, you know, you talked about how I chucked, my phone's gone. I chucked, I'm not going to answer it, I'm just going to switch it off.
Cool.
How I just chucked some green paint or down one end, you know, it's very much that as well.
Yeah.
Sort of when things are looking, you just disrupt.
You disrupt,
Disruption, yes. Contrast, the delicate and the thing. And I remember a Chinese painter, very well-known Chinese painter, telling me that the key is always the contrast of scale.
Interesting.
You know, so you'd have a huge brush in Chinese painting. You'd have a huge brush, and he showed me. He did this painting with almost like a broom-sized brush, with black on white paper.
Yeah.
And then he took a tiny little 2-hair brush and put little beep, 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 white marks on, and it changed into a cliff with birds.
That is so cool, isn't it?
Yeah, that contrast, you know.
It is the contrast, isn't it? Because you've got the contrast in yours all the time with the big heads and the smaller things and the shapes.
Yeah, you've got a good bookcase behind you. I see.
I keep liking to tell people that it's fake. I've just put it up for the Zoom videos, but no, it does exist.
You've got your lovely painting, and then you've got all the books there.
You've got the books, yeah. You've got to have
a few games. By the looks of it.
Yeah, there's a few games. There's a few I don't know, random bits of stuff lying around. And plastic bags and and then
Yes, I can't believe. Do you know the letter Eva Hess to? I love that Eva Hess. The letter of Sol LeWitt to Eva Hess.
Oh no, I don't know the letter. I know, yeah.
Oh, I like that very much. I don't think I just saw it here somewhere. I think. I went. Anyway, it's a great letter. It's worth reading.
Okay, I'll have a look. It sounds really cool.
I think if I have it, I'll just read you one bit.
Yeah, if you have it, read it one bit, and that would be a cool sort of finishing moment.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So Eva Hess was. I won't read. It's a very long letter. I'll just read one paragraph.
Okay.
Eva Hess was full of doubts about what she was doing, and then a bit of a low.
Okay.
And she complained to Sol LeWitt being an artist was useless and she wasn't any good. And he wrote back he wrote some of this. You seem the same as always, and being you hate every minute of it. Learn to say fuck you to the world once in a while. You have every right to. Just stop thinking, worrying, looking over your shoulder, wondering, doubting, etc., etc. Stop it. Just do. Don't worry about cool. Make your own uncool. Make your own world. You must practice being stupid, dumb, unthinking, empty. Then you'll be able to do. I have much confidence in you, and even though you're tormenting yourself, the work you do is very good. Try to make some bad work, the worst you can think of, and see what happens. But mainly relax and let everything go to hell.
It's really cool, actually.
It's nice,
It's really cool.
A very long letter. I just read my favourite paragraph.
Favourite bit. But it's something really interesting to think about, actually, as we do the paintings. I absolutely love chatting. It's really interesting. I've learned a lot. I think I normally learn more of it than anybody else does, actually. I get out of it. But no, I've loved chatting. It's been really cool. Well,
I've enjoyed meeting you and your questions and
cool.
Seeing your painting and your books behind you.
Thank you.
You ought to give me a tour of your studio.
Oh man, I'd love you to sometime. Yeah, it'd be absolutely brilliant. Yeah.
Where are you based?
Wimbledon.
In Wimbledon. Oh, right, West London.
Yeah, West London. Yeah. So it's not too bad. But
great.
Yeah, brilliant. It's been fantastic. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. It's been great to see you.
Cheers.
And cheers.
Cheers.
Bye.
Bumbuckler.